Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of the Right Stand. It's a sad turn of events. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar dying in a tragic plane crash near Baramati, actually, as he was trying to go ahead to campaign for the civic polls. The chartered Learjet 45 aircraft that he was traveling in went down and burst into flames while attempting to land in the dense fog. Early Wednesday morning, the flight was en route from Mumbai to Baramati, where Ajit Pawar was scheduled to attend campaign events and public meetings ahead of the Baramati civic polls. Now, as the aircraft approached landing, it reportedly struggled with poor visibility conditions and crashed close to the runway after doing one go about. Now, the wreckage was seen in pieces and engulfed in fire, and there were no survivors on board. According to the Directorate General of Civil Aviation, the plane was carrying Ajit Pawar along with his PSO, a flight attendant and two pilots. So in all, 5 people, all occupants, perished in the accident. In the wake of this crash, the Maharashtra government has announced a 3-day statewide mourning. Aviation authorities, including the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau and the DGCA, have launched a formal probe into the circumstances of the crash. So let's try and understand what exactly happened. And this is what happened. The plane actually takes off from Mumbai on the at 8:10 a.m. from the Mumbai airport. Ajit Pawar actually had meetings from 6 a.m. to about 7:45, 7:50 a.m. before heading to the airport, taking the flight, which then head towards Baramati. It head towards Baramati, and at Baramati, along over the airstrip, it actually tried to approach it from the far side of the runway, couldn't do that, that is runway 29, took a round, approached it from runway 11, that is from the other side of the runway, and then as it made the approach, just about 10 to 12 meters from that tabletop airstrip, it crashed 100 feet below. That's what happened. The crash consuming the Ajit Pawar and also all the others who were on board. It is a 6-seater aircraft, had 5 members on board, including the flight attendant, 2 pilots, his PSO and himself. So this happened at around 8:46 a.m. That's when the crash happened. And let's try and understand the entire sequence of events and also why there are so many questions that remain. Let's try and understand this very clearly, why there are so many questions, viewers, over what actually transpired. Now, we are given to understand that about 9:12 a.m. the ATC actually confirmed this, ATC in Mumbai. Now, here's a look at the entire series of events and how they unfolded. The plane first came in contact at about 8:18 a.m. Now, the pilot was advised to descend at discretion, at their own discretion, because this airstrip does not have ILS, that is the instrument landing system. So it had to be done, the landing had to be done manually with the aid of visually and manually. Now, the crew was informed that winds are calm. The crew was told visibility was around 3,000 meters, that is 3 kilometers. So very clear day, visibility. Runway was not in sight during the final approach. That's what the pilot has reportedly told the ADC. How could that be? There was a go-around that was initiated in the first approach. Now, pilots said that the runway was not in sight at first. Pilots then said that the runway was in sight after a few seconds. So this is quite surprising why this happened. The aircraft was cleared to land on the runway 11 at 8:43 a.m. There was no readback of landing clearance that came from the pilots. The ATC then notes flames around the runway at 8:44 a.m. But before this, there is one confirmation that there was a mayday call. Just before the crash, the pilots did make a mayday call. Why did they make a mayday call? What prompted that? That's the big question. And while visibility is a factor that's been flagged as the main cause, the lens is also on the aircraft, the Learjet 45, LJ45 itself. Now, over the course of the last 3 years, there have been 2 crashes. Questions are now resurfacing around the September 23 Learjet crash in Mumbai, where the aircraft skidded off the runway on a rainy day and then crashed, and the AAIB has not yet submitted the accident report 2.5 years down the line. The government investigation is still ongoing, with authorities yet to release the final findings. The Aviation Accident Investigation Bureau's panel is currently examining the technical data, pilot inputs, aircraft systems and runway conditions to determine whether there are systemic issues or operational lapses. In September 2023, a Learjet crashed while landing in Mumbai, and during the incident, the aircraft drifted right during the touchdown. And reports indicate failure in the autopilot system and a fire broke out after the crash. The aircraft actually suffered substantial damage. And fast forward to the 28th of January 2026, the pilot again, while attempting to land in Baramati, this plane crashes. Preliminary information also suggests a possible landing gear error during landing, and with the Learjets, which was made by Bombardier, this has been flagged globally that their landing gear could have issues. Learjets have previously reported landing gear issue. The issue with landing gear has been subjected to a detailed inquiry. Landing gear alert was issued by US Transportation Safety Board. The alert recommended landing gear inspections on many models. But here's one more confirmation, viewers, that the aircraft was fully checked and technically cleared to fly. It had flight readiness. All the mandatory checks had been completed. There is a confirmation on that end. So what actually transpired in those seconds and why the Mayday call happened? Why is it on a clear day that the airstrip was not visible and then suddenly visible when visibility was 3,000 meters? How could there be fog? These are all questions. And as more and more questions emerge, listen into the aviation minister and also the owner of VSR Aviation, which actually owns these aircraft, as charges of negligence swirl around this tragedy.
मैं जब दोबारा लैंड करने आए तब भी उनसे पूछा गया था कि विजिबिलिटी है कि नहीं रनवे का, तो उसके बाद पहले तो उनका समाधान नहीं आया, फिर उसके बाद आया कि विजिबिलिटी है। तो लैंडिंग क्लियरेंस जैसी एटीसी ने दिया, उसके बाद तुरंत देखा गया कि ये एक्सीडेंट हुआ है। बहुत दुखद घटना है, तो इसके ऊपर और जानकारी हमें मिलनी चाहिए। इन्वेस्टिगेशन पूरी तरह से ट्रांसपेरेंट और अकाउंटेबल वे में हम करेंगे।
The aircraft was very well maintained. There was absolutely no problem in the aircraft. There was no technical failure in the aircraft. You know, the DGC is doing the work. So please give us some time to handle first the families who have lost their lives, handle the DGCA, and then we'll get back.
Now, all in all, the tragedy raises several questions. One, at 8:30 a.m., the crew was informed that the winds were calm and visibility was around 3,000 meters. So the question arises, does this establish the fact that visibility was well within the range for a safe landing? The other part, after 8:30 a.m., the aircraft reported on the final approach that the runway was not in sight to them when it was approaching from the far side of the runway or runway 29 as it is labeled or numbered. The question now, with air traffic team reporting visibility of 3,000 meters, how couldn't the pilot actually spot the runway? Then after 8:30 a.m., there is another aspect. They were asked to report the runway was in sight. They replied, runway is currently not in sight. But then after a few seconds, they reported, oh, now the runway is in sight. What changed in a matter of a few seconds that the pilot could spot the runway? They did a big go around, and then the same strip, rather than approaching from this side, they approached it from runway 11 or from the other side. At 8:43 a.m., the aircraft was cleared to land on runway 11. That is the same strip, but the other approach. However, they did not give a fair readback of the landing clearance. And the question is, why didn't the flying crew provide a readback on the landing clearance? At 8:44 a.m., the ATC saw flames around the threshold of runway 11. The emergency services were then rushed to the crash site. And the question is, what happened in that matter of few seconds that led to the fatal crash? And if there was a mayday call, why was that mayday call made by the pilot? Now, the two pilots, one had about 1,500 hours, that's the co-pilot of flying, and the senior pilot has more than 16,000 hours of flying. So they were really experienced. And why is it that such a thing transpired? Yesha Kotak is now joining us from the crash site. It's late in the evening, but we see that there is still security and we can see ambulances and police vans behind you. Yesha, what is happening?
Absolutely, Anand. I'll show you what it looks like right here. Really, it's 7 a.m., so the sun has gone down. It's all dark here. The forensic team is right here. You also see the police teams have been deployed to keep visitors away from this, because ever since this morning, there have been thousands of Baramati cars who visited this very spot. Apart from that, the NDRF team was rushed to the spot. I'd ask my Vijayanand to show you the kind of visuals. Of course, it's a little dark. So it will be difficult to show you the visuals, but as we walk down a little away from the place where we are standing, we walk and show you visuals of what the crash site in fact looks like. Right here, if you see, the FSL is still working to gather some pieces of evidence from the crash site. This very spot. So where we were standing was very close to the airstrip. Between the airstrip and this is the crash site. So if you look at it, considering it's called as a tabletop runway, approximately 30 to 35 feet below the runway is where the crash has taken place. The entire area around this has been cordoned off. Now, as far as source-based information is concerned, like you've been discussing, that around 8:41 was where the first call was received that the runway could not be spotted. Later on, within 2 minutes was where it was mentioned that the runway could be spotted, and then what we see is the landing has taken place far away from the runway, and that has led to the crash taking place, because it was a ground crash. And when you speak of the visuals that came in around 8:45 was where you see that this very aircraft had a crash landing and it had engulfed in flames.
Right.
While the crash landing took place, what really happened was that Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar, while he was in his seat, he was thrown out along with his seat, and that's where he was identified a couple of feet away from the actual crash site. So this has what really happened, Anand, right here.
Right, and he was identified by the pink jacket that he was wearing and the watch, and the locals were able to see his. He did suffer certain burns, and his body, his mortal remains, did suffer some damage, but less than what the others did, who were part of that entire flight and debris that broke into multiple explosions, and their bodies have been fully charred. Now, the final rites will be conducted at 11 a.m. on Thursday morning in Baramati itself. Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis, the Governor Acharya Devrat, and also Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde have cancelled all of their engagements and appointments, and they have all air dashed to Baramati. They're all there. Supriya Sule is there. Sunetra Pawarji, the Lok Sabha MP, Ajit Pawarji's wife, she's also back there. Rohit Pawar, Parth Pawar, the entire family, Pawar family is there, and top leaders have also moved there. Interestingly, all of them, viewers, when they traveled from different parts of the country, Delhi, Mumbai, etc., they've all used that same airstrip for their helicopters and for their respective aircrafts to land, and they have all landed safely. But tragedy struck this particular aircraft, LJ-45, that was carrying Ajit Pawar, this morning at 8:46 a.m. Now, what does this do to the political spectrum of Maharashtra, even as there are allegations of foul play, because Ajit Pawar was making, there was, rumors of dissent within the ranks, and for him to break rank with the Mahayuti and perhaps go back into the opposition. Now, will this lead to a political flux in Maharashtra politics? That's another big question. Dr. Anand Ranganathan is with us. Kiran Sunavne, spokesperson Shiv Sena, is with us. Shabnam De, political analyst, with us. Dr. Asha Mirge is also with us, and Rohit Chandavarkar is also with us. My namaste, Jai Hind to everybody, and also condolences on this tragic turn of events. And I'm sure a lot of us here who are watching this and also on this broadcast as part of this panel may have either met or also interacted and would have had an opinion about Ajit Pawar, his administrative capacities, ability to stir up controversy, and also push through and fight through all adversities, even charges of serious corruption. But one man who was passionate about Maharashtra, he was a mass leader, and he had ground connect, and he was able to show that even when he broke away ranks from Sharad Pawar and joined the Mahayuti. So, Dr. Asha Mirge, your first thoughts on what's happened and what's going to happen now, going forward?
Firstly, I will definitely have the deep condolences for the Pawar family, not only the Pawar family, whole Rashtravadi NCP family, whole of the Maharashtra, because he was the leader with a vision. As per your saying, he was a leader with a ground connect. Second thing, he was a leader with clarity of the thoughts. Whatsoever is always said, he has broke up this and that. We were having difference of opinion, but we never had any rivalry. We never, during election campaign, someone must have said something about each other, but there was no rivalry. Every time whenever the family comes together, maybe it is the Pawar family, maybe it is the Rashtravadi family, we were very much respecting each other, and he used to respect the work of the Karyakarta. He used to see personally for everything what is going on around him. You must have just heard about Bidwala case. One 8th standard girl wrote a letter to our Deputy CM, that is Honorable Ajit Pawar. He read that letter, he investigated, and he searched out that bhraštachar, that corruption which was going on around. Means you can see how he was giving the respect to each and everything coming to him, and how passionately he was good administrator, how good administrator he was. Second thing, he never stopped working till the end. Now also,
Yes.
you must have seen everything, you said everything. I have seen all the files around him, which was still, it means still he was working, reading something in the plane. And second thing, the second question you said, now what will happen? Now what will happen, it will be decided by my senior leaders. But definitely it was decided that we two will be together. Whether it is in Mahayuti or whether it is in Mahagadi or whether it was separate, it was not discriminated. But definitely we were together and we were going to travel now together. Now also, this Pune Jilla Parishad, where he was going for the campaign.
Right.
We all, Tutariwala, are contesting on Ghadi. What? Our election symbol is Ghadya. Means what? So we were having that. In Marathi we will say there was matabhed, but there was not any manabhed. And this is
Now,
very
there is also this classic template of political opportunism and the need to survive and also to continue to hold, keep a hold on the civic body at least, because this is important. So, but that's real politics. On the other hand, Rohit Chandavarkar, when Devendra Fadnavis says, I have lost a Dildar and Damdar Mitra, then do you think that these kind of allegations of sabotage, as hinted by Mamata Banerjee, they hold any water?
I think what Mamata Banerjee has done today is completely irresponsible. I mean, nobody should make any such allegations. There is no sabotage angle whatsoever, simply because, Anand, you can figure out that this aircraft was on a go-round, as it is called technically. So first attempt was missed at landing, and I have some knowledge in aviation because I hold a private pilot's license. But the thing is, on second attempt, the aircraft could not align with the runway properly, and eyewitnesses there on the ground are telling on camera, and it's been reported in Marathi media all over, that they saw the aircraft tilting in one direction. So the aircraft tilted towards its left and fell or crashed. So there is no sabotage angle at all. Let's keep that aside. My point is, this has kind of shaken Maharashtra and kind of shocked Maharashtra because of the amount of vacuum that Ajit Pawar has left behind. Look at the political angle now. I mean, just look at how many positions he held or how many hats he wore at the same time. He was the president of NCP with 41 MLAs in Maharashtra Assembly and some members of in the parliament. He was Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, and he was Finance Minister of Maharashtra, who has presented 10 budgets in the last 2 decades of Maharashtra government. He was controlling many municipal corporations, many Jilla Parishads, and running the party himself with full force, working from 7 in the morning every day to 10 at night.
Yeah.
Now, this kind of a leader suddenly not being there is going to leave a huge vacuum, and a big challenge for NCP now, and also Maharashtra government, is going to be of, how to fill that vacuum and who will kind of replace him in every sense, in terms of his efficiency, in terms of his wisdom, in terms of his knowledge in running the administration, etc. So you will see many things changing in Maharashtra now. Like the NCP Sharad Pawar group spokesperson was mentioning earlier, just before me, I think they have now decided to fight on the same symbol. Both the NCP factions have come together. They will fight on same symbol, the upcoming ZP elections, Jilla Parishad elections. And the big takeaway here is going to be that they are going to benefit out of a huge sympathy wave in those elections happening on 5th February. So you will see a revival of NCP in some ways in Western Maharashtra because of today's tragic incident. And NCP will be led probably by Supriya Sule, who's Ajit Pawar's cousin, under the guidance of Sharad Pawar. Last point, I think Sharad Pawar's plans of getting retired from April onwards may be kept on hold for a few months at least, if not longer period, and he will continue to guide the party. You will see the two factions of NCP uniting with some special bond now because of today's incident. Anand.
Well, I think the biggest tragedy befalls a father who has to see his son perish before him. And that pain Mr. Sharad Pawar will have to swallow, because he will have to continue to remain strong. How much adversity, personal and political, he has weathered over the last 6-7 decades. It itself is testament to political families and what they have to go through. And it's about having to, take it on your chin and continue to move on. Amidst all of that, someone like a Mamata Banerjee makes a statement like this. Listen in, and then we'll take this forward.
I'm really shocked to see the news. There is no safety and security of the people of this country. Before a few days ago, I came to know that from social network that somebody from other party, they gave a statement that Ajit Pawar is willing to leave the BJP. And now what happened today, I need proper investigation under the supervision of Supreme Court.
Now, why attach meaning? Is this not really below the belt from someone as tall a leader as Ms. Mamata Banerjee? Shabnam De?
My heartfelt condolences to the Deputy Chief Minister, Ajit Pawar's family and bereaved friends, and may his soul rest in peace. No denial and dispute regarding any sudden untoward incident happened. Mamata Banerjee stood by Pawar's family always and respected by Pawar's family. Mamata Banerjee was shocked and saddened by seeing the news been played by your channels, that there was, because she apprehended that when these VVIPs having communication and conversation with Mamata Banerjee, that regarding the safety and security of the travel due to scarcity of time and to shorten the journey, these private jet plane which are under aviation of civil minister, they are not being maintained properly. That she had raised the voice that it should be properly maintained and technically all default and error to be looked into very seriously, because all our VIPs are traveling by private jet plane or helicopter or like this way. So it should be, their security are at stake, and that should be seen keenly by our aviation civil minister, central government.
Shabnam De, you're beating around the bush. The fact is that it's not run by the Union Civil Aviation Minister. These are private entities who are chartered flights, which are hired and brought over by these political parties who pay for them directly. So if you don't like a service provider, you change the service provider. The other thing is, why did she say that he is planning to shift? There is talk about him shifting ranks or jumping, moving out of the Mahayuti, and then allege a sabotage like this.
Now it is the need and priority for VVIPs while they are hiring or they are paying on their own out of their pocket for
having
these private.
No, but the aircraft will not be cleared for flight.
Minister also
there is the data flight manifest is there. The aircraft was technically cleared. There was no issue about it. All that is one part. She alleged sabotage. She alleged the fact that he's been bumped off deliberately. Why did she do it? Why would she do something, say something like that?
There is a, maybe she flagged that there is a foul play. It may happen, she apprehended, because there is a news which is circulated in social media that Ajit Pawar was willing to come back from
so how does that matter? How do in politics people shift ranks, people go back, and so do you bump them off? Sometimes what people say also reflects their own mindset and what they would do. Now, should that be applied to Ms. Mamata Banerjee? That would be disrespectful to her.
No, when he
No, so then
came
why
out
would
in
she
social media and
say
when
something
she is
like that? Kiran
asserting-
Sonavne, does that actually change anything within the Mahayuti? If Ajit Pawar were to break ranks and say, I'm
Now,
going away,
she is
is that going to
appearing
topple
on
the
the other
government?
political
And
opposition
when a
party
chief
also,
minister comes out and says he's my damdar and dildar mitra, clearly Ajit Pawar was firmly in the ranks, irrespective of who was fighting with who and how the civic body polls were unfolding. It was all evident that it was all being done. The Raj Thackeray backed Shivsena Shinde, Eknath Shinde, despite fighting in Mumbai with Uddhav Thackeray. So these alliances of convenience were kosher as far as the civic body polls were concerned. Kiran Sonavne, how would you respond to this? And what happens next? Do you think Maharashtra will go through some amount of political flux?
First of all, my sincere condolence and heartfelt tribute to the great leader of Maharashtra, Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Dada Pawar. One more thing I have to react on Mamata Banerjee's statement. It is a very insensitive statement that the leader like Mamata Banerjee, whatever he has been talking, she should take the proper information and then talk on such type of the issues. This is not the time to do the politics and political scenario. Next thing is that Ajit Pawar was going out of the Mahayuti or all these things. These are the news revolving in the social media. But the fact is that he never talk, and we all are as a Mahayuti is intact. And there will be no effect on the Mahayuti if that Ajit Pawar left from the Mahayuti. You all people are knowing that we are having the proper number and we don't require that much. But the willingly Ajit Pawar had joined the Mahayuti on the agenda of the progress of the Maharashtra, and that's why development was his agenda. He already told in the media earlier to when he entered in the Mahayuti. He said that development is my agenda, and that's why he joining the Mahayuti. And whatever the rumors, first is that we should think about the technical error, what type of the taken place, because many reports in the social media or in the X handle was coming that the owner of this private agency, Mahipal, I think that is the name I have read on the social media. He was not receiving for half an hour or 1 hour telephone from the people and many agencies. And there should be, if the crashes happen, there must be some problems in the plane itself. So we should find out the technical team will come and technical teams will be disclose all these things because all agencies are working on this. Anand.
Dr. Ranganathan, sabotage, and also let's look forward. Do we see a period of yet another period of political flux in Maharashtra?
Good evening, Anand, and good evening to my fellow panelists. It indeed is a very tragic day, and my very sincere condolences to the bereaved and the family. Of course, there are politicians, there are spokespersons, there are people who are into Maharashtra politics on your panel right now. I don't want to talk about the politics at all, especially today. And I don't want to talk about the distasteful conspiracy theories that are being peddled by a lot of politicians, including Mamata Banerjee, as to what happened, including some from other parties who are saying that this has been done because now if 2/3 of the Sharad Pawar faction defects to the BJP, it would not violate the anti-defection law and BJP will get a majority government of its own, and so the hold of Shiv Sena would reduce on it. This is distasteful to me right now. I don't want to talk about the politics. I want to talk about something else, which is very important, because going forward, I think that is something that we should all concentrate on. And I'll tell you what. The resemblance to what happened very recently in the chopper crash of Char Dham is eerie. This airport as what is called an uncontrolled airfield. Like Char Dham, like Kedarnath, where the landing, where despite all problems, there are 300 sorties every day, when 7 people were killed. Just like this airport there as well, there is no ATC, there is no live radar monitoring, there is no live automated weather live report. These are the 3 things that should be there as mandatory. I want to ask the politicians, I want to ask the DGCA, should there not be a law? And I'm not just talking about that there are politicians who are different over and above the common man. I would be the last person to do so. But the
Right.
fact remains that there are people who hold very important positions. For example, should there be or should not there be a law? It is perfectly reasonable to debate it in the parliament to allow a plane or a chopper carrying the prime minister or the president of India or any prominent deputy chief minister or chief minister to land at an uncontrolled airfield. I think we should be discussing that. Can you
Yes,
imagine the president of India?
apparently there have been multiple requests that have come in by Ajit Pawar itself to not just extend the strip but also to modernize it. We're just getting live pictures, viewers, from Baramati, where the mortal remains of Ajit Pawar have been moved from the hospital and brought to their the Pawar residence, or where all his supporters will have the chance till about 10:30 a.m. tomorrow morning to pay their respects. There has been a huge crowd that's come, and we could see top police officials and Praful Patel and Supriya Sule all standing there, and all of them requesting the crowds that have come in droves, thousands. All of Baramati seems to have turned up there to bid farewell to Ajit Pawar. He was a tall leader in terms of his popularity among the people, irrespective of the politics within the family. He had a certain currency with the people, and that's because he connected with them. Oftentimes his comments stirred controversy, and on national media alike he was lampooned for his utterances, but he spoke in the language that he believed will connect him to the common janta in Maharashtra. And they knew that if there is one person who would listen to them and act accordingly and act immediately, it was Ajit Dada Pawar. This is cutting across party lines, and we've spoken to a lot of politicians today who have echoed the same. Rohit Chandavarkar, you wanted to say something, and then I'll also bring in Ashaji. Yeah.
Yeah, very good point made by you, Anand. I mean, that's where you talk about who Ajit Pawar was. I would say, many people, especially the media in Mumbai and Delhi, let's say, could not understand, why this person used to speak in such a manner, sometimes from the stage, in rallies in front of lakhs of people or whatever. The point is, he remained very rooted in his rural politics, and remember, he always believed that his connect with his people from Baramati, people from Western Maharashtra's villages, was more important to him than his connect to the media, especially the English and Hindi media in Mumbai or Delhi. So he was reticent with the media. I keep saying this again and again. He was not a media-friendly person, but he was a mass-friendly person. He was always available to the activists of his party, Karyakartas, Janta, public, rural public, especially farmers and others. He would go out of the way and meet them or give them access, but he would not be so comfortable with the English-speaking media or the national media and would not give them access. So that's how you saw him using some utterances, rural utterances, getting into controversies sometimes, etc. But it appealed to the masses. It's a different kind of culture that he brought in Maharashtra's politics and survived and thrived and succeeded in connecting with people. That's what Ajit Pawar was, and it's very interesting to note that and understand that and throw light on that on this tragic day, at least last day of his life when we are remembering him. Anand.
But how do things change now? Ashaji, you wanted to say something, please complete, and then we'll take this forward.
Anand, just a second. Anand, just sorry, Ashaji. Anand, just a second. I have to leave and join another channel. Please allow me to go.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Rohit. Thank you for joining us. Yes, Ashaji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I must be thankful to Ranganathan, who said that we should talk on this because to save the another VVIPs. And I am thankful to sir who is going. He said the perfect thing. Mr. Ajit Pawar was connected to the rural people and he was committed to. Why he was not friendly with the polished people? Because he used to take the stand for those people, rural people, farmers, Ladki Bahini Yojana, for everything he was committed. And now I will talk about Ranganathan sir. These DGCA rules are there. but they are not followed. In this case also, the plane was 16 years old. Ideally, the plane for VVIP people should be and must be at the most 10 years to at the most 15 years old. 10 to 15. This is 16 years old plane. Whether it was maintained or not, we are not knowing. Second thing, for normal pilot, the 200 hours is enough for commercial pilot.
Yeah.
But for VVIP, it should be 3,000 hours. And this Shambhavi was only 1,500 hours experience.
Yeah, but
So that
she was the
also not-
co-pilot. The main pilot had 16,000 hours. The senior pilot had 16,000 hours. Now, we can keep nitpicking and you would say rules have to be followed. But my point is, it's a tragedy. And this tragedy can befall anyone. That's how life is. It's not permanent. Death is the truth, and we all have to embrace it. And I agree. Yes, you may want to say that the DGCA norms have to be looked at, how these private operators ply their wares and what is happening has to be looked at. But most of these private operators get their patronage from political parties. And it is these political parties who want them to be rushed off, who will come at the last moment, will want express service, and they will want to use these services, etc. And it's not that Learjets, 16-year-old Learjets are not used across the world, ma'am. Learjets are one of the most trusted, short passenger or small passenger aircraft across the world, and they have a fantastic record compared to some of the other aircrafts. So, yes. And even now, air safety, air travel is the most safest route. That same landing strip today has been used by all the other leaders who arrived there. They all landed there today on that same airstrip on multiple other aircraft. Similar Learjets or helicopters. They have all landed in Baramati. But this tragedy struck Ajit Pawar.
Actually, what has happened would be seen after FDR and CVR, means flight data recorder and cockpit data voice recorder, because maybe who will land will be decided by one of the, two pilots will talk in between and say, maybe she must have said, I will. We don't know what has happened. But
Crow,
this should be our
I
demand.
have limited time. Let me ask you this operative question, Asha ji. Ajit Dada Pawar was with the Mahayuti. He oftentimes said that the NCP needed to switch ranks and it needed to change its brand of politics because the mood of Maharashtra was going in another direction. And this had been a point of contention between him and Sharad Pawar ji for a long time. So will Ajit Dada Pawar's choices be respected? If the NCP merges again, will they continue in the Mahayuti?
See, the NCP will merge, that is definite. But this discussion was going on whether we will go with Mahayuti or not. Now and then also, this Ajit Pawar's say was definitely respected. But the thing is, our secularism is not seen or respected in Mahayuti, is said by our Sharad Pawar. Now what his tilt will be or which decision he will take, now I don't know.
No.
But
see, that political lexicon got erased the moment Sharad Pawar ji's party merged ranks or combined with Shiv Sena Uddhav Thackeray. So at that time, who was secular and who was not is the larger question. But that's a political lexicon. I am asking from a strategic point of view, the NCP going forward, will it want to ply its wares on its own? Or under Supriya Sule, will it take a different direction? Kiran Sonavane, what do you think will happen? Dr. Ranganathan, coming to you after this for a final comment before we move on. Yeah.
Anandji, see that whatever the political scenario in the Maharashtra, it will get something change after the exit of Ajit Pawar ji. But I would think that the MLA which intact with the Ajit Pawar will stay with the Mahayuti, and they might be joined with the Sharad Pawar. But Sharad Pawar, the BJP is not untouchable to Sharad Pawar, no. He already many times told the people.
You think they will merge ranks, or will someone like a Praful Patel or somebody else within the Ajit Pawar faction take the leadership of that faction?
This will going to happen, but they will not go out of the Mahayuti because you know that the people, those knowing the Pawar family or Sharad Pawar politics, they always done the politics with the pro-power politics. And pro-power politics, the Ajit Pawar has taken the same route. And earlier also, the Ajit Pawar clear in the media that when he earlier joined the BJP in morning oath programs,
Right.
he's told in the media that he has taken the permission and Sharad Pawar himself has sent him to the BJP. But again, that the Pawar sir has taken the U-turn. That the fact.
Well, now who takes a U-turn or who takes not? But you agree that there will be a certain period of flux or uncertainty on what happens next. Dr. Ranganathan, 30 seconds, and then we'll move on. Ji.
To talk politics today, but I just want to say one thing. Here's a solution.
They happen, but I don't think that the Mahayuti will affect it.
Well, let Dr. Ranganathan speak, please. Yeah, Hanji.
Yeah, I just wanted to say there ought to be a rule whereby only helicopters should be allowed instead of planes, small or big, to land on uncontrolled airfields.
Fair point made. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll continue to track the developments in Baramati. Lots of pictures coming through, outpouring of support, lots of remorse in Baramati, and deepest condolences to the Pawar family and to all those who were looking up to Ajit Pawar of leading them and taking Maharashtra forward in his role as Deputy Chief Minister as part of the current government. Moving on, viewers. The Khalistani nexus continues its campaign of provocation. And once again, Republic Day was chosen to send a message to Bharat from the sacred Golden Temple in Amritsar. Now, as per top intelligence sources, the K flag incident on January 26 was not an isolated act, but part of a repeatable playbook designed for symbolic provocation. Manoj Kumar Gupta getting us these details that such acts are carefully planned around locations and dates that carry high emotional value, making them low risk yet high visibility operations. Following sustained crackdowns by the National Investigation Agency on gangsters and Khalistani networks, Khalistani groups are reportedly struggling to sustain their movement within Bharat. Intel input suggests that most mid-level facilitators in Punjab have either been arrested, placed under surveillance or rendered inactive. Facing mounting pressure, these kind of K groups, gang networks and the ISI have shifted tactics. Instead of running organized rackets, they are now recruiting first-time actors for isolated operations. Intel agencies believe that the ISI's role has evolved from long-term strategic investment to one-time utilization. These individuals are used for a single act and then discarded, with no financial support provided for legal defense if they are arrested or punished. And meanwhile, fundraising activities continue in the diaspora hubs such as Brampton in Canada. However, Intel assessments indicate that collections have dropped significantly. These places collect small amounts under the guise of human rights and legal advocacy, and portions of these funds are then diverted through informal transfer systems routed via contacts in Lahore before being pushed into Punjab and in even smaller sums. At the same time, gangs and overseas activists amplify even minor incidents abroad, projecting them as evidence of systemic unrest and minority persecution in Bharat. Diaspora activists tag foreign lawmakers, human rights bodies and international media outlets, enabling such incidents to gain diplomatic and media traction overseas despite having minimal local impact. A major challenge for Khalistani groups operating abroad is their very survival. Diplomatic pressure and scrutiny over their alleged terror-linked activities have begun affecting host countries such as Canada and the UK. Bharatiya investigative agencies and government have repeatedly alerted foreign missions and counterparts about the misuse of charitable platforms, and Bharat has consistently urged Canada and the UK to closely monitor NGO funding, long-duration campaigns and memorial-related fundraising, warning that such channels are being exploited for unlawful activities. Dr. Ranganathan stays on. Ramnik Singh Maan with us. We are counting down about 6 months from now, if my memory serves me right, for Punjab elections, and lo and behold, this has started again. Ramnik Maan.
Yeah. Good evening, Anand. Both Anands, good evening. So, the Punjab elections are due in sometimes March next year. And let's say ballpark 1 year or so. And this has been the frustration of the Khalistanis, because the government of India and the government of Canada, after Trudeau had gone, have engaged very well. And the Prime Minister is again supposed to travel to Canada in March. So this is all a build-up. They're trying to keep that moment alive. As a matter of fact, within Punjab, there has never been a popular support for Khalistan movement. There have been isolated people. There have been politicians who have been interested in their own careers or in their own money-making machineries. Also, you are right that when you say that the Khalistanis' funding has gone down, that is correct. Also, it's because a lot of Hindus have not been going in that numbers in the Gurdwaras. Secondly, is that the popular support that they enjoyed from the government, through the government, is now missing. As a matter of fact, all mandirs and gurdwaras in Canada are registered as cultural organizations, not as religious organizations. Therefore, the government also used them. There was no audit. These money that they used to receive from the government were, since there was no audit, they were siphoned off. Now, so far as the Pakistani angle is concerned, I would firmly believe that Pakistan would never abandon till such time, the Pakistan exists. They will try all measures and means to divide India and to keep this separatism alive. So there are three angles to it, actually, Anand. Angle number one is separatism or terrorism. Angle number two, here is gangsters and extortions. Angle three is drugs and narcotics. So they will try and push drugs and narcotics in India. They will try and keep the separatism and terrorism alive, and they will also use gangsters in Canada to their advantage. So this has been the case that the Pakistani ISI has been following along. So far as the Sikh diaspora is concerned, the Sikh diaspora in Canada or in the West, there are a handful of people who've been in this, but by and large, if you look at the Sikh diaspora, they have been now keeping distance, keeping away from this. That is purely because of the crackdown by the Indian agencies and the government of India. Within India, the NIA and the IB and the other agencies have tied their noose around the known Khalistanis. So the idea of use and throw, abandon, use and abandon has been there. So you remember Gurpatwant Pannu announced dollars 100,000, $1 lakh for somebody who would raise a Khalistani flag. There are still over 40 boys who are languishing in jails. They've not even got their bails done. They've not even supported them. Forget about providing them with the $100,000. So this use and throw and use and abandon has been their policy all along.
Right. Dr. Ranganathan?
Yeah, Anand, and good evening to Ramneek Baji as well. Look, a couple of points out here. Number one, as has been our tradition that has been set out by both of us, whenever we mention Khalistan, we must mention the two axioms. Number one, that the flag of Maharaja Ranjit Singh had Goddess Durga and Lord Hanuman. And number two, that all these Khalistanis who've demarcated their Khalistan map and territory does not include half of Punjab, the Pakistan Punjab. So that itself lays bare what their, not just tradition, but intentions are. That it is completely Pakistan and ISI sponsored. But coming back to this event, I mean, while I completely agree with you, the assessment, and thank you for tracking this for years, and with Ramneek Baji, I want to say something. I'm afraid we are missing the woods for the trees. Because I asked a simple question. Would ISI-backed terror outfit not want the ISIS flag to be unfurled on Republic Day on the Red Fort? Of course they would. So that's what I mean. They would want it. The question is, how on earth did we allow it? How on earth, why are we not talking about that? How many heads have rolled to allow Khalistanis and terrorists to unfurl their flag at the most sacred sanctum sanctorum for Hindus and Sikhs, the Golden Temple? Where is the SGPC? Where is the Punjab Police? Where are the Central Security Forces? Who is answerable here? That is the question that we should be asking. Not that these terrorists have unfurled something. I'm sorry. So I complain, and I would love Ramneek Baji's view on this.
Right. Gentlemen, I have to interrupt this conversation, as important as it is. We've just got more footage of the crash, and this is CCTV footage that has just come in, and this is fresh footage that has come in. This is the ATC, and there you go. Where is the fog? Because you can see the clear skyline. There is sun which is there, and this is the footage that has come in on Wednesday morning, and we can see the time code which is coming, which is appearing there. And that time code very clearly shows at 8:44, and it is counting the time. Now, as we would see, the timeline comes in, there you go. And once again, what it shows at this point, and this is that entire small arrival area and the building that talks about, and there is the camera, and this is the footage that we now see at 8:43 till about 8:44, just before where we see the crash. What we see is bright sunlight. We can also see clear blue sky. So why is it that the runway was not visible? What is it that was causing this entire issue? And there you go. That's the flight. We see the plane suddenly crashing down at the backdrop at about 8:44. 8:44. As we look at the timeline, at 8:44, you will see on the time code to the top left. You will see right next to that the plane coming down and then crashing. So it's actually losing traction and it's falling. Yesha Kotak now joins us. The final 10 seconds at 52:53. Now, viewers, watch it very closely. We'll try and slow-mo it for you. You will see right from behind the time code, you will see the aircraft falling right. There you go. That's it. Exactly at 8:44, you can see that plane coming down and crashing. Yes, Yesha, what does this footage now outline for our viewers?
Absolutely, Anand. In fact, that this footage is out. We've in fact seen one more CCTV which was taken from around the highway, which clearly showed that around 8:44, 8:45 was where, there was a crash landing that took place. Now, this new CCTV is from Gram Panchayat that clearly shows the crash landing. In fact, when you speak, when you see the video, it also shows how the aircraft had maneuvered. In fact, it was trying to land and it then had to take a reroute and come back for the landing. And that's where the crash landing has taken place. Now, this, of course, raises questions on the fact about what sources of incident. But initially, the aircraft was trying to land, but because there was a fog, was where they were finding difficulty in landing, and that's how. And that's how they had to try and approach it from the other side of the runway. But while we've in fact visited the very spot, it's quite evident that the pilot could not land at the runway. And that's how the landing took place. At
Right.
the slope of the runway, and that led to this very crash or the aircraft running into flames.
Yeah, so this CCTV footage, what it shows is that it's a bright and clear day. So now ATC officials will have to answer those who claimed about poor visibility, because you can see the blue sky. There is no fog. You can see the building very, very clearly. There is bright sunlight. It's a winter morning sun that we can see. And as the count goes to 8:44, you see the plane. You see the plane and it's suddenly crashing. It's suddenly going down in a trajectory which surprises everyone. Now, how did that happen? That's the big question, that you see the plane crashing down. Why is it that the pilot kept saying that there is poor visibility? Why is it that the pilot first said, I cannot approach the runway, and does a go around, when in multiple CCTV footage you can see a clear blue sky, and you can also then see the building and also the plane. There you go. That's the plane. You see this at exactly 8:44, at 43:57, 58. There you go. That's the plane. And then suddenly it just falls down. You can see the plane in the skyline and then suddenly falling down. If you can see the spot the plane, viewers, the question is, why is it that they said there is poor visibility? Why is it that the plane could not, or the pilot could not see the runway and said that they have to do a go around? There you go. That's it. So this is where it is. This is where it is. And that's the plane. And suddenly it falls down. And this is another footage that confirms. You can see the bright blue sky. If it was foggy, you wouldn't see a bright blue sky and you won't see sunlight and you couldn't see the plane so clearly. So why is it that the pilot said they don't have sight of the airstrip of the runway? These are all questions that remain as more and more evidence comes to the fore. We're going to take a short break. The coverage continues. Stay with us.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. Unfortunate news came in this morning. Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar passed away in a plane crash in Baramati during an attempted landing. There were no survivors on board. Ajit Pawar was en route Baramati for campaign work when the Learjet 45 went down and burst into flames. Footage shows the aircraft in pieces and ablaze at the crash site. Maharashtra has now announced a 3-day state mourning. Flags are going to be lowered in tribute. Aviation authorities and DGCA have launched a formal investigation into the crash as well. Aviation Minister has gone on to say that preliminary probes suggest that visibility was the cause of the crash, but thorough investigation will be done to find out what exactly transpired. Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Devendra Fadnavis, Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde are also in Baramati. They've met with Ajit Pawar's family there, offering their condolences. The same as Prime Minister Modi too did just a short while ago. Prime Minister Modi too offering condolences. In fact, dialing Sharad Pawar earlier this morning as well to speak with him and sharing his grief at this time. Well, CNN News 18 has been getting you images of where exactly the crash took place, what the runway looked like, the tabletop airstrip in Baramati where the plane went eventually down. And these are visuals that we've accessed for you now, which is the site of the accident. This is the tail end, the rear, which eventually broke away from the particular aircraft after it hit the ground. That was it breaking into two, splitting into two upon impact, which eventually went up in a ball of flame. That is what killed all of those people on board that particular Learjet 45, including Deputy Chief Minister of Maharashtra, Ajit Pawar. These are visuals coming in from Baramati on that airstrip where this accident took place. This is that airstrip that you see. This is the part where you can see the plane had actually gone down. There are several locals, eyewitnesses who eventually came to the rescue. They were first responders when the plane actually went down and split into two. That is the runway, and this is where the plane went down, right on the side of it. It is a tabletop runway. We're given to understand that the pilot could not see where the runway was, eventually veered off. There was no contact after a point with the ATC as to what exactly transpired. But these visuals go on to show how far away really the aircraft landed from the airstrip where it was supposed to actually land. You can see the people there around that particular airstrip, around the runway, also gathering, looking at what exactly transpired, trying to help those who probably would have been trapped under the debris. Unfortunately, it was too late to save anyone. Mahresh, my colleague, now joins us, getting us more details on this. Mahresh, even as we're getting more details of what exactly transpired, getting a sense of what went down at that tabletop airstrip in Baramati, the family, they're still coming to terms with what exactly happened. Devendra Fadnavis, the Chief Minister, his deputy Eknath Shinde, all in Baramati now?
And we saw the visuals also that they met the family, and they also basically expressed their grief with the family. But it's a very shocking thing, and what we have been given to understand, even in the visuals also, we can see that a lot of people have gathered outside that Vidya Pratishthan ground where his mortal remains will be kept till 10 p.m. today. Then the mortal remains will be shifted to the Katewadi, which is the native place of Ajit Pawar, where exactly his mother and his family stay. So from 10 p.m. till morning 6 a.m., his mortal remains will be kept at Katewadi, and then again his mortal remains will be brought to the Vidya